Good morning, guys. It is hot already. It's 8:15 in the morning. I got my morning chores done, and it's time to start a new project. So it is so hot lately, we're not doing any forging. But I dropped a hint a while back that I wanted to do a new resin project. I don't know if you guys remember or not, but I dropped this hint. Remember? All right. So this resin project I want to do, what I want to do is I want to make some new grips for a 1950 toy that I have. Um, so anyway, these grips, I'm Cherokee Indian, and I wanted to incorporate something Indian-ish in it. So I was thinking maybe some feathers, maybe some turquoise, I don't know. I just experiment all the time. Anyway, so I did some testing with this new resin, and I got to tell you, I poured this block right here. I have beat this block with a hammer. It's a tiny bit flexible when it's hot, but I beat it with a hammer, and I can't even mark it, crack it, or anything. That's pretty impressive. It's different from the other resin I use, which in colder, if it's cool, it will shatter. But anyway, so I want to incorporate some stuff in these grips, in this resin. So I did some tests. So my first test was I took a rock here and I poured it in the resin. And what you see right here is some feathers. I was thinking about doing some feathers in the resin, but what happened is when I put these feathers in the resin soaked into them in my pressure pot, and they just pretty much became invisible. So I racked my brain. And my mother actually was like, well, why don't you just paint the feathers? Okay, so that's what I did. I painted a feather. So the first thing I did was I spray painted a little bit of paint on a feather, and man, it just wilted right up. And I thought, well, this ain't gonna work. So then I got way back and I dry sprayed it, just spit dry spray at it, and I ended up getting some feathers painted. So then I thought, well, what colors would be the best? So I tried some silver, some homochrome, and some white. And I ended up doing another test block, and it turned out quite impressive. So this is the test block I did, number 2. It's got a black background. It's got the feathers and some fake turquoise thrown in it, and then it's got clear poured on top of it. It turned out really, really well. So you can see this feather and this feather, this is the silver, and these feathers here is the white. This is the one with too much paint on it. Don't do that. But you can see they stand out. They actually did not become invisible in the resin. So I achieved what I wanted to do. So then, now I want to, if you wonder about the red dots, I'm not going to tell you. All I can tell you is do some research on different meanings of different feathers, and you'll understand, you'll learn what the red dot means. And I'm going to be honest with you and tell you, I couldn't put enough dots on it, so we just went with one. But anyway, so what I did when I poured these blocks is I just took a piece of wood. I already cut the wood off of this one, but I just took a piece of wood and I wrapped tape around it to make a dam to pour into. Then I poured my black, then I let it cure up a little while, and then I put my material in it, and then I poured my clear on top of it. So I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to try it. I got nothing to lose. You guys know me. I just do. Okay. So we're going to try the same thing. So what I did is I got me some thinner wood, some 3/8 wood, and I cut out my grips. Okay. So these little holes there, that's where the screw goes through. And I'm going to have to order a special screw and a little threaded barrel that'll go into the other side to screw this on. No big deal. Cost me about probably less than $10. But I want this. I'm going to make it. So what I'm going to do, same thing. I'm going to take and wrap tape around this, create a dam, and then I'm going to pour some black in here. I'm going to let it set up. Then I'm going to put my material in it. So my material is going to be a feather on each side, and I actually went down to my local sale barn, and there's some guys down there that do napping. If you know what napping is, that's how they make arrowheads, and they have arrowheads down there cheap. Now, granted, they're not fake because they're real stone and they're made the same way, but they're not old. But anyway, these guys they napped out a couple bird points for me, and I bought them real cheap. But the problem is they were real dark colored, so I homechromed them. Okay, so that is the same as this stone and this. So now they're going to stand out against this black background. So I'm going to put an arrowhead and a feather in these grips. And I don't know anything else to do other than to just get started. So we're going to see how this works, right? Are you guys ready? I'm ready. Okay, so I've got them taped up, right? What we're going to do, we're going to pour some black in there. We're going to pour some black in there pretty thin for the background. So, in case you guys are wondering, no laughing, but my workbench that I threw together in the heat of the moment about 20 years ago, not exactly level. So if I was to put my block on here and pour it, all my resin, it could be different thicknesses, and I don't want that. So OCD, I got me a board to set my plate on in case I have a leak. And my board, I shimmed under this side just a hair. My board is perfectly level in both directions. So now I'm ready to put my plate on here, put my molds on here, and mix me up some black resin. Plate. Double check my mold. Looks good. Double check my mold. Looks good. So I can see that my plate itself is up just a little in the middle. So I think what I will do is set something heavy on it, just like in that. Now I will pour in my resin. Or will I do away with the plate? That might be the way to go. I don't trust the plate. It's a little flimsy and I don't trust the plate. So I'll just pour my resin right on here. Let me make a dam around this. All right, so that was easy. So what I did is I did away with the plate. I just made a dam around the board that I have here that's level. Now I know for sure my blocks are level, not moving, and solid. So now I can make some black resin and pour in them. So I would like about probably an 1/8 of an inch thick layer of black resin. So I have some black resin dye here. I got my new resin right over there. I got my cups, my stirring stick. Let's mix some resin. And we'll stir for 3 minutes. So what I found for me, you follow your resin's instructions. But for me, with this resin, what I've found so far is I do my mix for 2.5 or 3 minutes. I know it's mixed well. It says I should pour it into a separate cup and mix again. I ain't going to do that. But what I found is if I let it set for about a minute or two, any bubbles that I put in there stirring will rise to the top, and I can get rid of them. I can pop them, put a torch to them or whatever. And if I pour slow, everything will work out real good. So I'm no expert. You do you. You follow your resin's instructions. I'll do me, and if I screw it up, I'll do it again. So ordinarily, I would pour my resin and either put it in a vacuum chamber or put it in a pressure pot. I like the pressure pot better. But so I did that when I poured this, and I also learned something with it. So you put it in a pressure pot, you let it cure completely dry, then you take the pressure off of it, you pull it out, and it looks beautiful like this. But since I got to make other pours on top of it, that one actually did not go in the pressure pot until I poured the clear. Why is because I poured this blue and I put it in a pressure pot until it was time for me to pour my clear on top of it. And what happened was when I released the pressure, it was set up, gelled good, but it was not cured. And when I took the pressure off, some bubbles, you can see right there, right here's one, there's a couple right here, and they were really bad around the perimeter. When I took the pressure off, the bubbles expanded in the resin. So that's just a thought to keep in mind. I got to pour on top of these. I'm not going to put it in the pressure pot until the end, the very last pour, then I'll put it in the pressure pot. So I know that the bottom layer won't do any good by that time, but the top layer will, and that's exactly what I did for this pour, and you can see how crystal clear that is. I just went around the edge there and I popped any little bubbles that I had. I got me a mark in there on how thick I want the resin. Not really liking this one corner right here. There it is. It was just dented in. Hit that with the torch, pop the bubbles. Get a bubble right there, pop that. All right, so I went all the way around it, popped any little bubbles along the perimeter, and hit it with the torch once. I'm gonna let that set about 4 or 5 minutes, check it again, probably hit it with another torch. Now, the bottle says 6 hours before the next coat. The other one about 2 hours because it's supposed to be 107 or 8 heat index today. I don't know, it's already hot, but I'll be checking it probably every 30 minutes. And what I'm looking for, I'll keep this jug. What I'm looking for is for this to be solid enough to set stuff on, but not hard, okay? If it's too soft and you set a rock on it, it sinks. So we want it fairly solid, but not completely cured out. So I'll be checking on it probably every 30 minutes or so, and we'll see if we can't come back in a couple hours when it's really hot. But we'll let that set. All right, so it's been about 2.5 hours. Remember my cup I tested? So it is still movable. See it gum in there? But it's actually fairly stiff. Stiff enough I don't think anything's going to sink. So now I'm going to put my stuff in it. I'm going to mix up some clear and pour it. Once again, I'm going to mix up some clear, stir it for 3 minutes, and make it a pour. Okay, so just to let you guys know what I did, I got to thinking about how much resin I mixed up, and I poured it all on this side. So I'm mixing up another identical batch to pour on the other side grip. So once again, 3 minutes of stirring here. Okay, I'm gonna let that set for about 5 minutes or 10 minutes or so and come back and hit it with the torch and knock the air bubbles off of it. All right, there's what it looks like. They're poured in about a 1/4 inch deep on the second pour. And it's crazy hot and I want to get out of here and not stir up any dust. So we're leaving for at least 2 hours. All right, good morning, guys. So I pulled the tape off of them that I had dammed up. This is how they turned out. Black background, got the feathers, the turquoise, the arrowhead. There's the other one. See them together here. So I still got the wood back on them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that to the bandsaw and cut that off. And then I'll take it to the grinder and clean the rest of the wood off. Then I'll know if they're thick enough. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so got them ground off. You see that? That's the dot that I had in the wood. Do you remember where the screw's going to go through? So that worked out great. This one, the black was a little thicker on it. So I went ahead and ground off a little more and I got rid of the dot, but I can drill this one and put them together and drill through and make sure they're perfectly aligned. So everything looks really, really good, to be honest with you. I think they're thick enough because, you know, they feel good right now. That's probably the thickness I want them. And then there is, you know, the handle part that's going to be between them. So what I'm probably going to do, I think, is probably drill a tiny hole here and drill through both of them and then maybe start shaping them a little. So let's do that. Oh, I do have to order a screw and a little insert that's going to go into this one. So the threaded insert will go into this, and then when I put it together, the screw will go all the way through this one. And I'm going to make a spacer in between because that's what I have in the handle right now. But I'm going to put the screw all the way through, and then it'll go in and thread into this one. So yeah, I think let's go ahead and, well, you know what I can do? Let me cut this out. Man, I don't know if you can see that little X, but it's dead on my mark. So perfect. So let me just go ahead and drill a pinhole through this and this one, and I'll be right back. All right, that worked out really well. Now I knew that the hole was going to end up being through the feather, but my placement on the turquoise was good, and same with this one. So you can see that it went through the feather. They are lined up absolutely perfectly. Can you see through that? Going to work out really good. So I think now what I need to do is, should I go and get the old grips, and then, because this is a little bit bigger than them, let me figure out what to do next. Okay, bear with me. I'm going to try to do this without offending anybody. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I just found out, what I just discovered. So I took the grips off of this, and if you see right there, that is an alignment pin, and in the grip there's a little hole. Okay, so whenever this goes on, it lines up on that pin. Actually, there's two. There's one right there and one right there, but I only have the one. So anyway, there's an alignment pin that lines up the grip, so when it goes on, it kind of snaps on, and it's in the exact same place every time. So I need that on this, but I think it's going to turn out, I think it's going to look pretty good. But what I need to do now, so I need to put this alignment pinhole in these, so that way when I'm test fitting and working on it, it will always go right back and set in the exact same spot. Okay, makes sense? So let me get them little alignment holes drilled, measured, triple, quadruple checked, and I'll be right back. All right, got my alignment holes. You see them right there. Got my alignment holes in it, and so you can see how it fits. I might be able to do this one-handed, so I can take and put that on. It just goes, locks right in on that pin. Doesn't move. Good and solid. All right, locks right in on that pin right there. So now, let me set you back up here. So now, I guess I am down to some shaping. So I think that's where we're going to go. So I put the grips on, and I went ahead and marked them with a pencil. So you can see that line. I need to remove this little bit of extra. I told you it was a little bigger all the way around. I also marked where it goes under. I can't really show you, but it goes under some pieces. But I got both of them marked like that, and I'm just gonna cut them in so they're just at the pencil line, a hair over, so we can do some hand sanding later. All right, I'm gonna do this with a little wheeled little belt grinder that I have for woodwork, and another little belt grinder that I have instead of my big one, because I'm gonna take off just a little bit at a time, not do too much. So I'm just gonna take my time and take off a little bit at a time. Okay, boys and girls, be smarter than me. Wear your respirator, okay? All right, so here's my new grips, right? So they're a little flat. So I was looking at the resin, and it said, after so long, you have to sand it with 220 or 320. So this is sanded with 320, and it is pretty smooth and clean. And let me set this down, get you picked up here, and you can get a better look at it now, but it fits really well. So what I think I need to do now is either go ahead and sand these down with like 600, 800, 1,000 grit and buff them out, or go ahead and coat them again. So I'm going to say this. I can always coat them again. So I think I'm going to just sand them with finer and finer paper and see what it looks like when I buff them out. If I don't like it, I'll sand them back with 320 and coat them again. But I think that's my route that I'm going to go. But right now it's hot. I'm hungry. So I'm going to take a break and we'll be back.